gonna stay until we soothe our soul. If it takes all night long.
Woo, 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 put on the brakes. Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, humans and canines, to another version of It's News to Us. Thank you, Mac. Wait for your cue. You are watching It's News to Us. We're in Newport, Vermont, oldest TV news, camera 2. Yeah, thank you. Let's see. We got adult themes and adult language. We try and keep it clean, but there is some cussing, and usually it's real minor. I mean, you know, hey, it's rated G. It really is. We try and keep it clean. And oh man, where do we go first? Well, this is for all the kings and queens in the Northeast Kingdom. This is from last week's 7 days, just for the naysayers. There it is right there. Oh, we can see right through it because it's blue. If it's blue or green, it don't show up. And, on the green screen, but thanks to the Fair Use Act, we're watching the remnants of 12 o'clock high. And the thing that kills me is here, when he speaks to the guys, he says, look, forget about it, okay? He says, just pretend you're already dead. This is in the fall of 1942, and we were losing the chances of a crew, a bomber crew, flying, I don't know, 20 missions or whatever, was probably 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 that did make it back. And it was brutal, brutal combat. And the U.S. bombed it during the day, and the Brits bombed at night. But anyways, this is AWOL Politicians. This is from Fair Game. By Paul Heinz. And so anyways, so last week, let me fill you in. Last week they had as you know, they had a vote to spank Indiana for spanking the gays. Yeah, because they had that, you know, they had that the Beat Up the Gays law, or Religious Freedom Restoration Act, or whatever they called it, or We Hang Witches, or whatever it is. So anyways, when the Vermont House voted overwhelmingly last Friday for a resolution opposing Indiana's controversial religious freedom law, just one legislator uttered the word nay. In a written statement he provided reporters, Warren Van Wyck, Republican of Ferrisburg, explained he was not interested in passing judgments on the actions of others unless they directly affect the substantive well-being of the state of Vermont and its residents. And most of his colleagues felt otherwise. 119 legislators voted in favor of the resolution, which denounced the law, critics have said, permits the discrimination against gays and lesbians. The resolution also calls on states to enact non-discrimination statutes protecting lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender citizens, and asks all three branches of Vermont's government to refrain from traveling to states that allow for unequal treatment. Those who voted solidly supported the measure. An unusual number of lawmakers were absent for the roll call. I mentioned that last week. There was 30-something missing in action. And I know it's a Friday afternoon, but seeing as the legislature, they only work from Tuesday till Friday. I mean, there's usually still some people in the building, you know. But no, they were gone. So here's how it went. While those who voted Friday supported the measure were let's see, a disproportionate number of the absentees hailed from the GOP, the greedy old peckerheads, which holds just 53 of the House 150 seats. Among the AWOL were 17 Republicans, 10 Democrats, and 2 independents. Some of them were observing Good Friday or Passover, such as Representative Vicki Strong of Albany, said she decided to stay home out of respect for the holiday. Her husband is a pastor of the Albany Methodist Church. How would she have voted if she had made it to Montpelier? I honestly can't tell you, she said. I probably would have given in to peer pressure and voted yes, but my concern was sending the resolution to 50 other states. Other lawmakers were spotted around the State House, but mysteriously absent for the vote. So they were there, but they didn't vote. Now, you know, isn't that what they get paid to do, boys and girls? So anyways, Bill Canfield, Republican of Fairhaven, was one of them. He said he was tied up filing his expenses so he could be reimbursed. Gotta get that money. Gotta get that money. Yeah, because everything's been reimbursable. Mileage, wear and tear, time in the vehicle, you name it. So he said he wasn't sure. Representative Lynn Batchelor, Republican of Derby, was more sure. She opposed the resolution in principle, but openly admitted she skipped the vote on purpose. I went to the ladies' room and I went to my committee room and listened, she said. Why not just vote no? I believe that people should have their rights, absolutely, Batchelor attempted to explain. I believe that they are gay or transgender or have any other problem, whatever else they believe in. That's their beliefs, and we shouldn't tread on them here in our states. Any other problem, says Hines? I don't see that as a problem, she said. That came out wrong. I knew as soon as I said it, it came out wrong. Representative, yeah, that's from Derby, you know. I would have more, like I told somebody just recently, I would have more respect for these people if they just came out and said, well, no, actually, I hate sodomites and the daughters of Sappho or from the island of Lesbos or whatever they are, you know. I would have more respect if they did that than they snuck around and attempted to cover it up with some tap dancing language. Listen to this guy tap dance. Doug Gage, Republican of Rutland, asked over the phone, he says, he just decided not to. Why? I just said I decided not to, he clarified. I had my own reasons. Well, what were the reasons? You've asked that question 3 times already, and you haven't answered it 3 times already. I think we're done with this conversation. Bang! And he hangs up the phone. Okay, that gets better, man. It gets better. Representative Tom Terenzini, Republican of Rutland, drove all the way up from Rutland to the State House Friday morning, but after filing his expenses, he left town for the vote. I wasn't trying to avoid anything, he said. I wasn't feeling well. But he knows exactly how he had voted had he stuck around. I would have voted against the resolution because, you know, number one, I don't like socialist Democrats and the progressives shoving that crap down my throat. I mean, if a person owns a business, he has the right to deny service to anyone because it's his or her business. And you can print that, my friend, just like Mitt Romney. Yeah, corporations are people, my friend. My friend, you know, when people say my friend, chances are they're not being very friendly, boys and girls. So it would be okay to deny service to, say, African Americans? No, that wouldn't be okay, Terenzini said. Why not? Equal rights, I guess. Everybody should be treated equally. But if an owner owns a company, he should have the right to deal with certain organizations or whatever. But it's okay to deny service to gays? No, I'm not saying that, he said. I'm saying on an individual has the right to, you know, this law in 20 states in the United States now. I believe it was started by, I think even Clinton signed on to it back in the 90s. But I know, I just feel that if you own your own business, there might be someone you don't want to deal with, such as someone who is gay. Those are your words. Those are your words, my friend. Those aren't my words. I'm a justice of the peace. I married gays, lesbians, homosexuals, heterosexuals. All you have to do is call the town clerk's office, and you'll see that I've married people who are straight, homosexual, gay, lesbian, whatever. Okay, then. Yeah, that guy can tap dance faster than Fred Astaire on methadone. Oh, and speaking of which, here's one. I got this from a buddy of mine gave me this. I don't know where it comes from. Premiere issue. Ooh, this is the first issue. This is the very first issue. $7 in the U.S. and $8 in Canada. It's called EQ or something like that, right? EQ something. EQL. Destination for weddings, and it's like a wedding planner for gays. It's like gay weddings should never be boring. Many skip the typical traditions. And here we are, timeless and everlasting. Here we go. Yes, there's the groom and the groom. And of course, you know, just like Hollywood, they're gonna pick like the most stylish young couples you can find, right? You know, Except they do have a couple of real life weddings in here, and I'll tell you, somebody's got to, just like Snap-on tools, man. Somebody's got to be something, and somebody's got. It's like baseball. Somebody's got to be the pitcher, and somebody's got to be the catcher. You can have switch hitters all day long, but somebody's got to pitch and somebody's got to catch. And here we are here, Pathway to Peace of Mind. Here's a lovely couple right there. Yay! And you can see right through them too. It's blue in the background. And let's see, let's find some lesbians. Yeah, here we are. Now, these, of course, these aren't younger lesbians. These are like older lesbians, a little long in the tooth there. But, could be a second marriage for both of them. The second marriage, first one being to probably a guy. And, and here's a couple right here. Let's see, there we are right there. Hello, ladies, hello. Oh, man. And here we are on the right track and not looking back. It's like a honeymoon right in the vineyards. Yay, yay. I went to see Hot Tuna one time. It was a punk show. And the first guy, one of the first acts was Tom Robinson. And I'm all like, I'm looking around and there's no girls in the whole place. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And Tom Robinson comes out and he's all like, sing out, you're proud to be gay. Tell them you like it that way. I'm all like, what the hell? And then, then the punks showed up and the place got rocking. Oh man, that was a surprise for yours truly. I'm sitting there like, what the hell? What have I gotten myself into? It was like in Pacific Beach, Todd, there was a gay laundromat. Oh, here we are. Quaint country charm. Yay! Hello, ladies. They had this gay bar. It was right next to a laundromat, right? In Pacific Beach. And I used to always go to this other laundromat, up near the Roxy Theater, right? And for some reason, I don't know why, I said, well, I'll go down, I'll use the other place. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I go down there, and while the stuff's in the machines, I go into the bar next door, and there's no ladies, and it's like, it took me a while. I'm pretty thick, I'm pretty thick. It took me a while to figure out that I was in a gay bar. I didn't need to get pinched or anything. But it was a trip, man. I mean, everybody was polite and all, don't get me wrong. But I'm just so happy that the single ladies up here are so happy. And speaking of which, we got an article in here. This is the front page of last week's paper, too. A solemn vote for veterans. What's the matter, boys and girls? You can't go overseas and kill women and children without it bothering you, and you can't sleep at night? Wonder why. Yeah, I'm going to sign up to help protect freedom after 9/11. Why are we killing women and children? Well, because they're easier to shoot. And here it is, right here. The veterans, let's see, one of this lady's kid died of suicide. The support systems failed in his time of crisis. Let's see. Vermont is one of 5 pilot program locations under the Clay Hunt Prevent Suicide for American Veterans Act. Members also, well, according to the VA, and that's another thing too, it wasn't the people that was harassing soldiers on the way back from Vietnam. A lot of it came right from the government, because as soon as these guys grew their hair and beards out when they got home, the government's all like, yeah, see, look at them, they're all dirty hippies now. What do you expect, They're all a bunch of drug addicts. Yeah, the Vietnam vets against the war. Oh, yeah. So they get spit on when they come off the plane. Baloney. Members also ask for continued and increased outreach programs for veterans and families, federal policies that lead to counselors trained in military acronyms and situations. Yeah, The whole place is foobar. It's a big snafu. Snafu being situation normal, all fouled up. And foobar standing for fouled up beyond the recognition. And CQ and GQ and FOB and MOS. And, you know, it's like, what? What? You got to learn their lingo? And military acronyms and situations, military policies that allow veterans a period of reintegration that maintains unit cohesion. Oh, so they want you to maintain unit cohesion so you can go back when they want you to kill more women and children. The Vermont National Guard will be asked to boost its education, continue to reduce stigma around mental health care. Let's see. His sister said they gave her some measure of peace if her brother seeks treatment. For me, I wish it was done sooner because Brian needed help again. As a mom, you watch your kids go through this stuff and there's nothing, absolutely nothing you could do. You could have told the kid not to go, okay? You could have told him that the military is a bunch of swine and you know, this whole glorification of people in uniform, what are you kidding me? I mean, they're the worst of the worst. Always have been. Why do you think in every state constitution, under the arms, the carry arms, right to bear arms thing, it says, you know, and as standing armies are dangerous to liberties, they ought not to be kept up. Why do you think our founding fathers put that in every one of our state constitutions? Oh, it must have been because the military is so good. Go, military, go. Well, one thing that does work, and this is from this month's High Times, and just for the naysayers, there it is right there. High Times, and here's the article right here. It's called The Green Legion. And see, as usual, the Canadians are, ooh, bagek! Wow, look at that. A week after Easter, and I'm still coming out with these things. Damn, they're everywhere. Here's another one. And there's nothing in them. Just like everything else, the Canadians get there first. And it says 20% of veterans who served in Iraq or Afghanistan suffer from some degree of PTSD. At present, PTSD being pussies to seek disability checks. At present, no reliable pharmaceutical treatment exists for PTSD, but cannabis has been shown to provide relief. While some doctors at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs turn a blind eye to their patients' use of weed, others take a hard stance against it, and federal law makes it illegal to prescribe cannabis as a treatment. Meanwhile, an ambitious program in Canada helps veterans get medical weed scripts and provides a communal setting for them to recover. Some soldiers credit it with saving their lives. And you could probably read the article at hightimes.com. I don't know if I want to go through the whole thing, but these guys are saying that it's working for them. I mean, they're loaded up with all kinds of pills and stuff. Oh man, this one guy talks about an anti-tank mine, 2 of them, double stacked, flipped a vehicle, the passengers are dead. Yeah, just like in here, you know, in 12 o'clock high. These guys got shot. Mind you, the cabins weren't pressurized back then, so when you were on a bombing run, you had to wear an oxygen mask, and it was like 30 below inside the plane. And if you got shot, your blood or brains flew out, it would freeze to the insides of the plane. War is a nasty business that should be avoided. And so anyways, trauma didn't manifest. It was his job to inspect the blast sites, pick through the bloody wreckage. Let's see. A lot of sleepless nights trying to think about that. You inflict pain, or you want someone else to inflict physical pain on you because emotionally you're hurting worse than anything anybody could do to you. Out of desperation, he tried cannabis. As soon as it hit my lungs, it was like, psh. I don't know what winning the lottery would be like, but I imagine it's something like that. Well, he was Baba Koosh. A strong indica. Worried that the source of his newfound peace would dry up, he paid $37,000 to have 10 pounds delivered to him. Jeez Louise, 10 pounds? That's like that's $3,700 a pound. Yeehaw. And here we are, Dr. Neumeister, this guy, Alexander Neumeister of NYU, has linked PTSD to cannabinoid receptors, specifically CB1 receptors in the human brain. They're part of the endocannabinoid system, and it promotes homeostasis in the body and regulate the nervous system, among other things. The endocannabinoid system is deeply connected to memory, mood, pain, and other functions. Through brain imaging, Dr. Neumeister discovered that PTSD sufferers have an elevated number of CB1 receptors associated with fear and anxiety, and lower concentrations of the neurotransmitter anandamide, which binds to the receptors. Neumeister found that the use of cannabis caused a spike in anandamide, which in turn corrected this imbalance. But you know, we're stupid here. We're stupid. Weed is weed. Never the twain shall mix. Why don't you go get drunk like the other veterans used to do? Yeah, and they could just die from cirrhosis. It's nuts. And so anyways, coming home from his 4th deployment, Trevor knew something was wrong with him. They told him the darkness was normal and it would pass. It didn't. His friends started killing themselves. He was eating 12 to 15 oxys a day. One night he found him sitting on a couch with a rifle and a bottle of whiskey, not expecting to see morning again. He dropped the gun, waked up his wife who dragged him into the hospital, and he trusted this guy enough to try cannabis therapy, and so he said, if it wasn't for weed, I'd be dead, 100%. He said, and they said if Congress committed suicide at the same rate as veterans, there would be no one left after 25 days. Okay then, good going. Let's have some more wars. Yeah, let's wave that flag and go beat up some more brown people and steal their oil. Oh, and here we are. What's one of our favorite topics, Toddster? Oh, let's see. When booze attacks. And here we are. We're going to go quick, so this bullet-headed cop, he got 3 weeks on paid leave and pled guilty to DUI after he crashed his van. Thanks, boss. There he is right there. Yep, 3 weeks paid leave. Yeah, looking good. Oh, here's this woman, the suspect arrested in the attempted robbery. Now, you know what they always said about northern Vermont, don't you, Skipper? That it wasn't bad for the men. It wasn't bad for men and dogs, but it was rough on women and horses. Well, here we are. South Burlington police recruited April 4th at Dunkin' Donuts, suspected of attempted robbery. Jessica Goulette, 38, is due to appear at retail theft and attempted robbery. The 11 p.m. April 4th, female suspect, she wanted everything from the register. The employee told him she had activated an alarm and police were on the way. The suspect fled the scene. She was described as a white female in her mid to late 20s with a thin build, described as weathered looking, with dark brown hair and a blooded hooded sweatshirt, also carrying a green cell phone. Weathered looking. That's a good descriptor. That's a good adjective. Oh yeah. Yeah. Kind of weathered looking, you know. Looked like 40 miles of bad road. Oh, mass to streamline marijuana dispensing. Oh, yeah. Well, do we need a dispensary to dispense tomatoes? Do we need a dispensary to dispense pickles? Oh, no. Man, oh, man. Maybe we can do a white balance, Todd. That's kind of like, there it goes. That's better. What'd you do? How'd you do that? How'd you do that? It's magic. And here we are. This is from last Thursday's paper. Shumlin challenges 62% spike in the price of the overdose, the opiate antidote. It's like, you know, what the hell, boys and girls? You know, nobody ever asks where the heroin is. Never ask where the junk comes from. Never, you know, none of it's coming across this border. None of it's coming from Afghanistan, where they got the largest poppy crop. You know, when Obama said last year that we were going to get out of Afghanistan in a year, we started noticing fentanyl deaths. The junkies were dropping dead left and right from fentanyl because they were trying to change the formula because they knew that the supply was going to dry up. If they got no way to ship the stuff back, like with the body bags in Vietnam, then supply was going to dry up, so they tried to use fentanyl instead. Oh yeah, oh man. If you go on YouTube, somebody should have it posted by now. They had the DEA chairwoman, Michelle Leonhard. She's been there since 2007. This woman should have been run out of town on a rail or dunked like a witch. This woman, and she's saying, well, they said, like, wait, they had these guys taking money from the Colombian cartels. They were hiring whores. They had, you know, it's like, what's going on, lady? And she's all like, well, nothing I can do. They're, you know, they're government employees and they have protections. You know, hey, look, my father worked for the government. My aunt and uncle worked for the government. It's like you can get fired just like anybody else. Boom, you got caught. You break the law, you're fired. Goodbye. Let them appeal it all the way to the Supreme Court, but you can fire them. You just don't fire them. The reason they don't fire them is because they don't want them telling anybody, coming out and writing a book and saying how, oh, when we worked in Colombia, we worked with the cartels to bring cocaine into the country. Oh, we don't want the truth to come out. And here we are. School student transport driver been ordered to court on a DUI. Oh, yeah. He's driving around kids under the influence of alcohol. Cruelty to children. I had an 8:50 a.m. morning report of a parent who had arrived visibly intoxicated, had a child. He was a cab driver in a minivan. The minivan was gone by the time the cops arrived, so they radioed him and told him to pull over. And, oh man, oh sure, why not, right? Hey, you're only a bus driver. What the hell? And here we are. We got 600,000 people in the state, 41 breweries making $200 million, and then they want to give them a tax cut too. Okay then, you bearded freaks. We'll let you make all the money, but nobody can grow any weed. No weed. Bad weed, bad. Very bad. And here we are. Collector and Bluebird Tab wine director shares tips on the perfect bottle. Jason Zuliani selected wine for a charity auction from John Krabbe's collection in Shelburne. Oh, look at this. Oh, they're going to find the perfect wine. Yeah, for the perfect tumor. You know, look up, just type Google wine safety or arsenic in wine and see what you get. It's unbelievable. Oh, God, I can't remember the name of the website. Winesafety.com. Taintedwine.com. That's the name of it. Go to that website, taintedwine.com. And speaking of which, oh, if you go to cowspiracy.com, you can get the skinny there too. Did you know, Toddster, that animal agriculture is the #1 cause of deforestation, water consumption, and pollution? The cow business produces more CO2 than the transportation industry and is the prime driver of rainforest destruction and species extinction, habitat loss, topsoil erosion, ocean dead zones, and almost all environmental ills, yet it's unchallenged. 2,500 cows waste equals a city of 400,000 people, okay? You get antibiotics, you get endocrine disruptors, they get put arsenic in their feed to promote growth with copper and pesticides. The effects are largely unknown. It's just insane. Let's see. 1 to 2 acres a second are clear cut for pasture and grazing. 1,100 activists have been killed in the past 20 years. That would be environmental activists. And half of the U.S. contiguous land, that's from coast to coast, is used for animal agriculture. Half of the land in this country used for animal agriculture. So they can crowd them into feedlots and stuff them. Oh, and speaking of which, that shaggy cadmium cow guy, he's gone too, Todd. Yeah, remember the guy who had started the Lowland Beef Company? We're going to sell all this local beef and we're going to pasture raise them and stuff like that. A couple years ago, the same guy who wanted to start the pellet plant, that guy, I think his last name is the Spanish word for blue. That guy, every single one of those plots is up for sale. All those acres and acres, and he fenced them in with cedar fence posts, high tensile fencing, and everything, man. He paid like $2,400 an acre for $1,400 an acre land, and I can't imagine what his tax bill is. 1/3 of the planet is desertified. Cows are the leading driver of the desertification. 6 million animals per hour are killed. 50% or more of the grain goes to cows. And dairy equals cancer because you get a huge insulin response and you get IGF-1. And the United States has the highest consumption of dairy, yet still has the highest levels of osteoporosis. So you can get twice as much calcium out of leafy spinach as you can from this pus. And here's one from my buddy Vita Crocetta. That's an acronym. I think his name is David. He just jumbled up the words. Oh yeah, we've been stupid since 1937. It's about adult choices, you know. Furthermore, there is no great conflict or conspiracy among the underage to destroy their fellow teens. Teens are more aware of the issues that affect them and more mature in their thinking than we give them credit. Yeah, that's right. And if you're out of weed, can't find any, ask your kid. And speaking of which, this girl, this poor girl, right here on the front page, she was killed by her doctor. The same guy that he's injecting Botox for muscle spasms. Now, you know, they know that weed is an antispasmodic, okay? And yet her parents couldn't go on a computer and, camera two. Her parents couldn't go on a computer and look up antispasmodics. Toddster. Yeah, thanks. And, oh, that's okay. If you're trying to open your email, you don't get any yogurt on it. But instead of searching the web and finding a non-toxic way for your paraplegic daughter or whatever to avoid muscle spasms, you go with some, hey, Dr. Benjamin, oi! Scott Benjamin, 2 first names, what's that tell you? Continually gagging and choking, unable to, breathing was shallow, had trouble holding her head up. Because this guy was pumping her full of botulinum toxin. Botulinum toxin. It's an off-label promotion. Kind of like, you know, using SSRIs, it's stupid Prozac and crap like that for anti-smoking. And still, the doctor suggested more Botox, this time in her hands in addition to her legs. So she's going downhill fast. What does this idiot do? He gives him more poison, botulinum toxin. She was found dead the morning of September 25th when she was trying to wake her up for school. The Drakes they filed suit and was awarded $6.7 million against Allergan. And, of course, Allergan is appealing that decision. Dr. Benjamin testified in that trial that he would not be convinced that 8 units per kilogram was the maximum safe dose of Botox unless and until a high-ranking official from Allergan so informed him. So, okay, Doc, you've killed 2 people with your experimental therapy, your off-label promotions. You know, how many is it going to take before you get the message? And these people are so enamored of a doctor that they're not suing him, just the drug maker, okay? You know the difference between God and a doctor, Skipper? God doesn't think he's a doctor. And here we are. Trooper denies on-duty DUI charge. You know that they get buttons and boot pay, Toddster? It's actually called buttons and boots pay. Yay, you get paid extra. They receive special pay for keeping their uniform brass and shoes polished. It's insane, man. Once he was on paid leave, he had no access to his gun, badge, cruiser, or state police computer. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, Judge Corsones ordered him released on conditions. Okay then, great. And here we are. A housing plan is praised and critiqued. That's right. We've got Skinners trying to pick up young girls on Faceplace from a computer in all probability from a computer in the homeless shelter, and we want to have even a lower barrier. A lower barrier means that if you're drunk, you're welcome. They want to firm up policies that will expand and support financial regulatory for low and no-income housing. Reduce the impact of college and university students on housing in the city. Support measures to reduce chronic homelessness by prioritizing housing as a platform for addressing other economic and health issues, and explore a low-barrier shelter that would accommodate people under the influence. Yay! Don't tax the booze. And speaking of booze, this guy was at a bar way back in 1991 when yours truly got busted for walking in the forest with his dog. And it all goes back to booze. He was, let's see, he was stopped on 105 following, his license was suspended following a 1991 DUI. He's been in the joint for like 30 years. In Newport, I think. And the state offender registry, let's see. He was on probation for driving while intoxicated, possession of stolen property when he attacked a woman after a night in a Waitsfield bar 23 years ago. You think the bar might have overserved him? Oh, that's right. We have a liquor control agency, you know, to look into that. Oh, we'll get into them too, because that guy, and here's the drunk on duty trooper. Yeah, oh well, it's allegedly. We don't know for sure. You know, it's just one of those things. Several times, Trooper Rademacher and I stopped on the trail to converse, Trooper Richardson wrote. Twice I got very close to Trooper Rademacher's face in order to confirm what I was smelling. I could smell a distinct odor of intoxicants emitting from his breath. It was said he was drinking Dogfish Head and Newcastle beers from 4 to 10:30 p.m. the day before. He had been drinking at home and on the mountain at Killington. So I'm sure while he was drinking on the mountain at Killington that he called a cab and had him drive him home, right? Wrong. And here we are. This is from Thursday's paper, April 9th. Study says Vermont is soft on embezzlement. No kidding. It's the state sport. Thanks, Skipper. Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, sure. And we told you about this woman last week, embezzled more than 100 grand from Pinewood, and then embezzled another 51 grand to pay the restitution from her first embezzlement at Home Furnishings in Shelburne. She's a serial embezzler, yet the judge let him off because Grammy and Grampy came in and ponied up 70 grand to keep her butt out of jail. They said local, county, and state governments are the #1 victim in Vermont. Yeah, speaking of which, and we've got a debt now in 10 short years, 8 short years. We've gone from, 140 grand to, what is it now? $480,000 debt in North Troy. But that's okay, you know. And here we are. This is the guy who got released from the sex offending, and there's a suspect arrested in Burlington stalking case. His name's Joseph Strong. And there he is right there. Yeah, we be Vermont strong, and we like white girl too. It's just incredible. Police issued a public statement about the incident. Several people responded information to ID the suspect, Joseph Strong. 3 counts of stalking, 1 count of prohibited acts. I wonder what the prohibited act was. We don't know. And speaking of black folks, look at this. Yeah, oh yeah, this is Exhibit A, why black people don't automatically believe cops who say, I feared for my life. And here's a picture of the guy running away from the cops, shooting him in the back. Well, you know, this guy who's running, mind you, he's driving a Mercedes, unregistered. He doesn't have his license with him. He owes like 18 grand in child support, and he gets out and runs. Instead of spending the weekend in jail, instead of just staying in the car and taking your lumps, no, he gets out and runs. Now, mind you, that's no excuse for the cop to execute the guy, but, you know, it's piggy target practice. They're shooting blacks today, they'll be shooting whites tomorrow, and they do it right here in Vermont. Showed up, 2.5 minutes, killed Jesus' brother over there in Burlington. Bang, 2.5 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. And here we are. Undocumented overtime for state director. This guy is he's the director of education, licensing, and enforcement for the Vermont Department of Liquor Control. and he lives right here in Derby and commutes to Montpelier every day, and he was getting, I don't know, like 12 grand worth of overtime every year and didn't even have to document it to his supervisor, Todd. Pretty good deal, too. And some of it was supposedly in cash. It's nuts. Where the heck is the cash thing? High-ranking agencies, well, in light of the fiscal corrections, the benefits is known as spiking because you want to get the hours up. Before Goggins collected another 10 grand from last July 1st to January, when Jeb Spaulding ordered to stop the payments for overtime to Goggins and others. Let's see. Goggins told me that Hogan needed his help. The overtime issue's dead. It's a moot point. It was my decision as a department head. Yet no other department gets that kind of sweetheart deal. And it's unbelievable. Yeah, let's see. Jeb Spaulding, the Wolfman, ordered a halt to paying cash for several high-ranking agency and department heads effective January 11th. Cash? Really? I mean, I didn't even know anybody pays in cash anymore. What, are you kidding me? How convenient. It's nuts. Disclosure about the verbal agreement between Hogan and Goggins comes from a series of complaints filed by the Vermont liquor investigators raising questions about department operations, including allegations of unequal distribution of overtime pay. See, that's what happens. If you'd kept the little people in your department happy, Skipper, and it started when they wouldn't pay this piggy overtime who worked with the Burlington piggies on some Operation Overtime or some damn thing. Hi, Mac. You got to wait for your cue. We're not quite ready yet. And this is from today's paper, April 15th. Yep, that's right. The con is on. The con is on. Come on down. Yeah, fill up that trough. Here, suey, suey, suey. Yeah, you get a gun, you get a badge, you get to do nothing, you get a lot of overtime, too. And here we are here. Oh, she has announced already. Billary, de Zoom America. Ach, du Lieber, ja. De Führer, de new Führer. Unbelievable. Iraqi leader seeking U.S. help. Oh, sure. That Iraq pursues reconciliation among the sectarian groups and keeps its distance from the Shiite militias backed by Iran. Then we'll give them aid. Oh, sure we will. Let's see. The policies of his predecessor, Nouri al-Maliki, antagonized Sunnis and helped create a climate that allowed the Islamic State to siege large swaths of Iraq last year. Hey, Skippy, if it wasn't for the Iranians, you know, if it wasn't for the Iranians helping out these jackalopes in Iraq, that whole place would be flying a black flag today. Oh, and what's one of my favorite topics, Toddster? History. Ethan Allen artifact to go up on sale. An Ethan Allen artifact. You can buy an authentic Ethan Allen artifact from 1774 from that old alky and land thief. And you know what the artifact is, Toddster? His arrest warrant. A 1774 arrest warrant for Vermont Revolutionary hero Ethan Allen and other leaders of the Green Mountain Boys is going on the auction block. Oh, sure. And there was a bounty, too. Putting a bounty marks on the document is important in government action. It's showing that things have gotten to a point where it's going to be very hard to come to a peaceful resolution. The whole act and original document is essential to Vermont's early history. Oh, yeah, you think? So luckily, a year later, he took Fort Ticonderoga, and then he got captured when he tried to take Montreal, and then he spent 3 years on a ship in British prison. But Ethan Allen was rebelling not only against the crown, but about local colonial authorities. Well, yeah, he was a land thief. You know, he was a drunk from Connecticut who stole land. And here we are, Earth in the Lurch. That's right. You know, General Motors, the brake lines on General Motors trucks have been, and SUVs have been popping right and left, Todd. And they haven't killed anybody yet, but they, NHTSA, the National Highway Transportation Agency, came out and said, well, you know, you people where they spread salt in the Northeast and stuff, you just got to wash underneath your cars more often. It's like, wait a minute, we've been spreading salt on the road since like 1936. And you people are telling me that because your brake lines are popping and you're using cheap, thin, crappy steel, that it's the driver's fault? You can't make this stuff up. It's just insane, man. Wash the underside of your car. The message Friday came from the NHTSA, which closed a 5-year investigation into rusting lines that carry brake fluid in 5 million Chevy, Cadillac, General Motors, and SUVs. That's why I will never, ever buy anything from Generous Motors again. If I was going to buy American, I'd buy Ford. They didn't take the bailout money. But I'll tell you what, this is the reason right here. Instead, the agency blamed the problem on rust caused by road salt and a lack of washing. It determined that it was not the direct result of manufacturing or a design defect. They found GM trucks weren't defective, even though it received 3,645 complaints of brake pipe rust from vehicles made from '99 to '07, including 107 crash reports, 40 reports of injuries. 75% of the complaints came from trucks in the first 4 model years, from '99 to '03. Similar vehicles in Pennsylvania did random checks. Oh, but it's all right now. The industry gradually switched to nylon or plastic-coated steel lines, so, you know. Yeah, it started off with a complaint from a guy in Ohio, Middletown, Ohio, March 2010, who said the pipes that carry brake fluid on his '03 Silverado rusted and leaked, causing a sudden reduction in braking power. Well, I saw him with my own eyes last fall when I was having my tires studded snows put on. I'm at the garage and this guy's I'm there, what's up with this thing? He said, oh, the brake line's popped. I'm there, what? It's like practically brand new. He said, yeah, he says it happens with Generous Motors, you know, but what are you gonna do? And here we are, Debbie dumbass Marca shits. She's doing dick while the bumblebees are going. Now, mind you, we've known since 2008 or '09 that 7 of the 9 native species of bumblebees in Vermont have disappeared. 7 of 9 species wiped out, and first Governor Dumbass did nothing, and now Markashitz is doing nothing. It's insane. A muted celebration is in order, said ANR Secretary Deb Markashitz. And what does ANR stand for? Agency of No Response. The listing is part of a broader conversation. The issue is what's happening to our pollinators. Well, you think you would ban the neonicotinoids? Oh no, we're not going to do that. They're banned in Europe because they kill everything. But, you know, they're not banned here, and we're not going to ban them in Vermont either. On the contrary, those chemicals have benefited Vermont's forest and field, said Little Deb, noted that their effectiveness against gypsy moths and woody adelgids and protecting local apple orchards from insect damage. Yeah, remember that old song? You're old enough to remember. Give me spots on my apples, but leave me the birds and the bees. Oh, no. No, you don't plant trees that are resistant to bugs. You spray the crap out of them. And then don't worry about the pollution that gets into the soil. And, you know, I can't understand why you've been eating healthy. You've been eating apples all the time, and you still got tumors coming out of the side of your head. It's just insane. Although he is convinced that neonicotinoids can and do extinguish bumblebee colonies, Kent McFarland, a biologist at the Vermont Center for Eco Studies, said the ag exemptions made sense in this case. Oh yeah, like gypsy moths. Gypsy moths come and go. My father saw 16 infestations, something like that, in his lifetime. They mound up and then they die off. They mound up and then they die off. It's nature. It's a natural balance. You don't need to spray the forest for gypsy moths, you idiots. But it makes money for the people, and somebody's got to go out there and spray the stuff, and well, you get paid to apply pesticides, and everybody makes money all the way around. And here we are. Ooh, Vermont Co-op milk, $3.79 a gallon. And look at the guy drinking it. You gotta be kidding me. Drink the pus, camera 2. Yeah, if you drink the pus, this is what you're gonna look like. If you really wanna look like that, I don't know. Drink the pus. Drink it. Drink it! And here we are. They would say Democrats want to take your guns away. It's true. Gun bill advances in Vermont House. Representatives with House of Representatives with several changes. That's right, because Republicans only care about one thing. It's a woman's reproductive system. No abortions. We don't care about jobs. We don't care about the environment. We want to get rid of burdensome regulations, But yet they can't keep their nose out of women's reproduction issues, and the Democrats want to snatch guns away from people. That's just the way it works right there. Now, look behind me, boys and girls. Watch this. Here comes the Luftwaffe. There's like a crew of 10 in one of these planes. They had a nose gunner, a top turret gunner, a bottom turret gunner, 2 side gunners in each window, and God, there was another gunner too somewhere. Yeah, there's the ball turret gunner. Now, if the wheels went out and you had to land with no wheels, if the thing was jammed up, you couldn't get out of the ball, you had to squish the guy, and he died. A lot of people died that way. And they had very small people to get in there. And here we are. Local pets vie for fame. Yeah, look at this. This is art, don't you know? Oh yeah, we make cats. Yeah, it's what we do. See that? Doesn't that look like cats to you? It looks like a bunch of wood carving chips. What, are you kidding me? That's art? Unbelievable. And thanks to the Vermont Supreme Court, Vermont's mental health advocates say they're gratified the state's raised the bar for when the state can force a patient to take medications against their will. They ruled Friday that patients being cared for must convince a court that the patient is likely to become dangerous to themselves in the near future before they can be required to take it. Take it! The court found it's not enough to show that without medication their condition may deteriorate. Found there was no proof that the patient had done anything dangerous in 15 years, yet the state wanted to force the drugs down your throat because, hey, you got a social worker making money, you got a psychologist making money to write the script, you got a psychiatrist, you got a psychologist making money to listen to their problems once a week, you got a regular doctor who's making money, you got the pharmacy making money, and the drug companies making money. So, hey, it makes everybody money to hospitalize, to drug people against their will. Oh, and here we are. Child protection bill progresses. Well, it's not the child protection bill. It's the dumb jocks pooper bill. Because the dumb jocks had pooped this poor kid, a bunch of them. They'd pooped the kids with pool sticks as part of their initiation rites or something. And the teachers did nothing. The coaches did nothing. And T.J. Donovan took a couple of the kids to court, even though we had a reporting law. There goes another FW. Ooh, there goes a bomber. Boom. But yeah, 4-page bill came to the wake and suicide of Jordan Prevey of Milton. The Milton High School killed himself a year after the hazing ritual for the team. Ritual sounds so much better than rape, don't you think? Oh, and get this. The committee kept another controversial provision that imposes a prison sentence of up to 30 years and a $1.5 million fine on people found guilty of manufacturing methamphetamine in the presence of a child. It's okay for the teachers to give your kids speed, but if you're making bathtub speed at home, oh no, we'll throw the book at you, boys and girls. Oh yeah. I went into a B-17 when I was younger one time. They had a bunch of them show up at this airport. The Confederate Air Force did down in Scranton. And my dad was in the 8th Army Air Force in World War II. I got on this plane, Todd. It's, honest to God, it's not much bigger than a DC-7 or whatever. It's unbelievable how small it was. You could hold more bombs in the back of a pickup truck. Mac, what are you doing? You're out of your mind. And speaking of, and yeah, it was a flying fortress, but it was so tiny. You have no idea how small this airplane is until you get in it. Now, mind you, it shows you the pilot and co-pilot right next to each other. I mean, they're right next to each other. That's as wide as that plane is. It's like this wide. That's it. It's a miracle we won the damn war. It really is. All right, thanks, Skipper. And here we are. This guy decided to do a practice landing on slush. Yeah, good going. You idiot. You idiot. What did you think was going to happen? Oh, I'm going to take this. Let's take the Cessna out. We can practice landing. Okay. And here we are. 5 senators of Vermont stupid. That's right. They voted against the climate change. And 4 Republicans and 1 Democrat. It was the usual suspects: Norm McAllister from Franklin, Brian Collmore from Rutland, Peg Flory from Rutland, Joe Bullethead Benning from right over here in Caledonia County, and John Rogers, Democrat from Essex. And Rogers said he wouldn't do it because he opposed the resolution because the measure excluded language to address the negative environmental impact of solar and wind industry, such as encroaching on high elevation forests. Oh yeah, there's a negative environmental impact, John, on solar and wind energy. The wind has been blowing every day nonstop since New Year's Eve. When I change my calendar, I write on it whether it's windy, very windy, or flat, right? And every single day, except for maybe 2 days a month, the wind has been blowing and we've been getting free damn power. Yet Senator Rogers says, oh no, yeah, I'll be stupid. I'm not going to say it's man-made. I don't know, maybe it is man-made, maybe it isn't. But, you know, unless they put in something about the forests, you know, it's okay for the farmers to destroy the lakes and rivers. It's okay for the loggers to destroy the forest. But if you want to put in some windmills and a road to get up to them, whoa, you're destroying everything, mister. And here we are, the Chamber of Fascists. That's right. Oh yeah, and I see the local papers too. They got pictures of our local senators up there and representatives screaming about property taxes a week or 2 weeks before the legislature adjourns. Where were these people at the start of the session? You know what I mean? Where the hell were they? Well, you know, going to call up Senator Stupid and say, where were you? You're complaining about the tax money now, but, you know, it's so close you can't do anything. Oh, yeah, well, you know, I got my picture in the paper and it's okay. The Chamber of Fascists. That's why we call them the Geezer-slature. And Vermontis pluribus stupidum. Just remember us, F-you us. Yeah. Who says our ancestors didn't have a sense of humor? Freedom and unity. If you can't remember the freedom and unity, the motto, just remember F-you. They got a Latin, now we have a Latin state motto, thanks to Joe Benning. Aren't you glad that Senator Joe Benning got that for us? My God, we've been without a Latin motto for, oh, I don't know, 250 years, you know? And it's so good that he took all his time and energy to do that, you know, when the rest of us are, you know, oh, drone guilty, that's right. Our bombs are sweet, swelling, and noble bombs. When our bombs bomb children, we don't see them. But yet, when this bonehead bombed a crowd in Boston, oh man, he's Satan incarnate. And speaking of bombing, yeah, here's Senator Stupid. Yeah, bomb them all. I think we should bomb Iran right away. Yeah, like right now. Well, I don't know. Why don't you get in the cockpit and go over there, you fool? Pretty soon they're going to have some Russian surface-to-air missiles. And here we are. Check this out. This is from last Thursday's paper. No women graduated in the Marine class when they opened it up to women. Not one of them. They all washed out, Toddster. They couldn't even do pull-ups, 2 pull-ups. The 2.5-year period in which the Marine Infantry Officers Course became gender integrated for research will end without a single female graduate. The final 2 participants started and failed the IOC on April 2nd. Both were dropped during the grueling initial endurance test. 9 of the 90 men were also cut. So 1 in 10 men, about 1 out of every 10 men were cut, but the two women, they got no upper body strength. That's just the way it is. You know, there is a difference between men and women, you know. And here we are. This is my favorite picture. Here's Shap Smith barking at Chris Pearson, my buddy Chris. And he's saying, look, we need more beards up here, see? Everybody's got a beard, even this girl over here. See this woman? She's got a beard. We need more beards at the Geezerslature. Unbelievable. Oh, and there's my buddy there. What's his name? Oh, that's, jeez Louise. Yeah, feds to drivers, wash your car. That's it? All right. Last but not least, this guy right here. All right, he's last but not least, this guy, he doesn't want to pay for abortion, so he's going to do the Health Act thing. But, you know, it's okay. We pay for wars out of our taxes, and we can't say anything. Once again, you've wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching this stupid show. So until next week, head east, get down on your hands and knees, wave the insects away from your head, play to the invisible sky god of your choice, and say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Mekki. Allahu Akbar.
We're gonna stay until we soothe our soul. If it takes all that long. Come on and let the good times roll. We're gonna stay until we soothe our soul. If it takes all that long. The evening sun is sinking low. The clock on the wall says it's time to go. I got my plans and I got plans for you. I'll tell you exactly what we're all gonna do. Get in the groove and let the good times roll. We're gonna stay until we soothe our soul. If it takes all night long. Come on and let the good times roll. We're gonna stay until we soothe our soul. If it takes all night long.